What's up, gang? How you guys doing? It is Lieutenant Sal Blue, 28-year law enforcement veteran and the author of the top 25 mistakes en route to the good life, coming at you today with my daily podcast. That's right, man. Listen, if you guys have not jumped on over to my site, lieutenantsalblue.com, or hopped on over to Amazon to help me become a bestseller, and make sure you go on over there and pick up your free copy of my book, Top 25 Mistakes en Route to the Good Life. I am giving away 10,000 autographed copies. 10,000 autographed copies. So get your copy today. Pick it up. Give it away as a Christmas present. Do whatever you got to do, man. Get this copy, man. It's one of the most valuable gifts that you'll probably be able to give somebody, is teaching them not to make the same mistakes that many people have made over the past years and have ended up with a bad life. I'm trying to get you to have an extraordinary life. So make sure you guys hop on over to lieutenantsalblue.com and pick up your copy today. That is me on the back, man. So anyway, today's podcast, man, the question is buried deep in the podcast. So I just want to get into it, and I want to talk about today's podcast because I feel that it is very critical and very important. And so, in doing so, I want to ask you guys a couple of questions for me to get started in my podcast, right? And so, first thing to start off this podcast, I want you guys to understand this, right? And I'm going to say this with emphasis, right? Guard your most important assets at all costs. Guard them. Your most important assets, whatever they are to you, guard them at all costs. Now, in making this statement, I'm not making this statement out of the obvious, right? Because what I want you guys to understand is this, right? I want to get you guys thinking about what is important to you, right? What is important to you? What do you hold valuable? What is your most important asset? Tell me. Think about it, talk about it, and let me give you some things. Maybe it'll stimulate your thoughts when it comes to important assets. So now that you're thinking about it, tell me what they are. Is it your bank account, right? This is your bank account and the money that you have in the bank, right? The money you've accumulated over the years. Maybe all of the money that you have set aside for your retirement, your big retirement account, that big huge nest egg that you have. Maybe that is one of your most valuable assets because you feel that that money holds the key to your future retirement, when you're no longer able to make the same income you're making now. So that may be a valuable asset to you, and that is understandable, right? Maybe it is your children, right? Maybe it is your children as you raise them, right? You've dedicated your entire life to your children, to your family, right? And so, maybe it's your children. And I can see that happening, right? I can see your children being your most valuable asset in all of the world, valuing your children over your own life. I can see that, and I understand that when we talk about your most valuable asset. I can see it being your children, right? Or for some people, maybe it is your business, right? Your business that you have grown to maybe a multi-million-dollar empire, right? Maybe it's that business you've grown. And when you think about it, right, it may not even be a multi-million-dollar empire. It can be just a simple $50,000 to $100,000 a year mom and pop, but you have grown it to something that means something to you and means something to the community and means something to everything that you do. And that business may be your most important asset, right? Or, for some people, it could be your wife. Maybe your wife that you finally found the woman of your dreams and you made her your wife and she is your most valuable asset. Or as a woman, maybe it is your husband. Your husband is your most valuable asset, and you love and cherish him and cherish that relationship because that is extremely valuable to you, right? Or is it your home, right? Is it your home, or maybe you finally bought that big mansion that you dreamed about all your life, or maybe a bunch of toys, man. Ferraris, Rolls Royce, Maseratis, BMWs, Mercedes, whatever it is. Maybe it's all of your toys that you have brought over the years that you've accumulated. that is your most valuable assets, and that's how you see it. That is okay too, right? What I'm trying to tell you guys is it is your life. So whatever you believe is the most valuable asset is the most valuable asset to you. There is no right answer. There's no right answer to this question. It is just a matter of what you have focused the most on. And so whatever you focus the most on is usually what grows the most in your life, right? If you focus on your children, then everything else falls to the side, and your children flourish. And if you're fortunate enough, you have great children and they continue on to be great long after they're no longer under your rule, right, as a parent. So you're hoping that. If you put all your focus on your business, then probably most likely that is going to be what grows the most in your life, and maybe everything else will fall to the wayside. You know, if you focus on your husband, if you focus on your wife, so on and so forth, and these things that you focus on, all the things that usually will grow the most. So, and we're talking about positive things. We're not even talking about the negative focus. So we could just leave that out of the picture right now. And we'll get into that on a whole different podcast. So what you focus on grows the most, guys. And that is probably the truth of just about everything that you have in your life. Okay, so now that you are all warm and fuzzy, right, about your most important asset, what if I told you? What if I told you someone you allowed inside your circle as a friend may also be plotting, right? They may also be plotting to tear it all down. Everything that you build up, everything that you accumulated, everything that you see valuable. Somebody that you let into your life as a friend is looking to tear it down. I don't know, maybe they're envious, maybe they're hurtful, or maybe they were never your friend all along, and they were just posing as your friend as a spy in your life, right? Seeing what you were doing, seeing how you were rising, and said, you know something, I need to grab a hold of this guy right here, be a part of his life, or this girl, be a part of their life, and see where they go, so that, you know, to knock them out of the box when it comes time for me to step up. So understand that. They also cannot be a friend, right? They may just be posing as a friend. So my question today, right? My question for today's podcast is, are you aware of the friend in your circle who is working as a spy? Wow. And listen, let me tell you, you don't have to be a multimillionaire, right, to have a friend working as a spy. You don't have to have the greatest relationship. You don't have to have the greatest children in the world. You don't have to have the top business. You don't have to have too much of nothing. All you have to have is just a little bit more than them, right? And they're willing to tear your shit down. They're willing, okay, to step on you, to use you as their stepping stone for them to get ahead, for them to have more, for them to do more. So you have to pay close attention to this, guys. It's just not, you know, the billionaires that people are trying to tear down, okay? There are a lot of crabs at the bottom of the pyramid, right? The bottom of the pyramid, the bottom of the wealth pyramid. It's a lot of people fighting to get up top, man. The air is thin up top, so it's less people that you have to worry about coming at you and going against you. But on your way up, boy, oh boy, the battle is fierce. So you got to be extremely careful and keep your mindset right. Now, throughout my life, I have watched many regimes, and this is in law enforcement, man. I have watched many regimes rise and fall. But during this time of the rise and fall of these regimes, right, you know, wardens, administrators, commissioners, all of these people rising and falling, during the time of these rises and falls, there was one thing that remained consistent with all of these regimes, right? With all these regimes, and that was the use of the inside man, right? The inside man, the person who got himself in there and always act like they were part of the team, always act like they were part of the program. And sometimes they really, really got up there high and got some critical, strong information to tumble regimes for the next party, for the next political party, for the next major player coming along. Okay, it was always the use of the inside man. And that inside man always posed as a friend, always posed as an ally. So understand that, guys. That was the one constant that I always saw. It was a person, and they were always in there, and they gave up the critical information, right? They gave up the critical information of the regime that was currently running. Now, this person was very, very valuable during that time at gathering information and sending it out to keep the competition one step ahead of the current regime. That is what they did. So if they planned on doing some, I don't know, some type of rally or something, that inside man would always give them the information to keep them one step ahead of the regime who maybe planned on putting out a memo, planned on putting out some type of litigation, some type of law, some type of rule, right? And that person was the inside man, and he would tell the outside people the inside information first so they can get a jump on it. You know, and that regime usually fell because they were always one step behind the competition who was always trying to take them down. And it was all because of the inside man and the information that always got out. Okay, so understand that the inside man, the use of the inside man is masterful, but you have to pay attention to it, right? You have to pay attention to it because it is being used against you as we speak, some of you, right? And so I don't want you guys to be falling victim to this all the time and not understanding why, okay, you are not getting ahead. Not understanding why things aren't working out for you, okay? So understand the use of the inside man. It's usually a friend. It's usually a friend, guys. So understand that. Now, these friends, right, and it may be even in business, right? So if you're in business and you're saying, well, I usually keep my business and social personal life separate. These people are so good. They work their way into your social circles. They work their way into your social circles, and they politely probe people, right? Politely. And they don't try to force information out of people because people love to talk, right? People love to talk, especially if they feel that they have a common interest with somebody when it comes to you, right? So they'll probe your family, right? They'll probe your family members, the children, your wife, you know, your brother, your sister, everybody who loves to talk. Sometimes your family members are envious of you as well, right? Because they didn't get the opportunity to say, I told you so. I told you you weren't going to make it. So a lot of times your family member will give up information on you that can then be used against you. So understand that, right? So these spies, they come into your life and they probe your family, they probe your friends, they probe your peers, okay? And they do all of this all to find out your weaknesses, right? Your weaknesses, they want to find out your weaknesses, and they want to find out your intentions, your next step. What is your next step? Anybody who is trying to be successful, trying to achieve something better in life, they always have a plan. They always have a next step. You will never find somebody successful who is stuck at status quo. They're always working for what am I doing next? What do I need to do next to achieve, okay, the next level of my life, the next level that I'm taking it to, right? Now, as you are thinking this, if you're successful, I hope you are thinking this, as you are thinking this, at the same time you're thinking this, okay, that person who is inside your circle, okay, probing your family, friends, and peers, they're trying to figure out the same thing. what is his next step. That's not something that you usually divulge to your competition. It's not something you usually divulge to um, your subordinates, right? It's something that maybe you do some pillow talk to your husband or wife at home, right? You may discuss it because it may affect your children's lives, and you also may discuss it with some of your closest friends. And that's who this person is going after. He's going after those people to get the most information possible about you so he can use it against you. Okay? So understand that. They're looking for your weaknesses and your intentions. So be very smart and crafty when you're talking about your next move. I like to tell people, just keep your mouth shut. Do not talk about your next move. Just do it. And by the time they realize what has been done, it is too late for them to interfere. So that is my little bit of advice to you as far as achieving something great. Now, you must always guard against the overambitious people, right? If you have overambitious people in your organization, you really, really have to be careful, because if an overambitious person in your organization has not risen fast enough, okay, and feels as if you haven't given them enough opportunities, okay, to rise fast enough, they can easily be used and manipulated by your enemy, okay, to try to get information about you, your company, your personal life, whatever your next move or weaknesses is. They can be used against you. And it's that overambitious person that you always have to worry about, because they're not going to leave nothing to chance when it comes to them succeeding, which means they will turn on you and they will use you and they will do whatever it takes, okay, to rise up as high as they can possibly go. Okay, so understand that, guys. Now, if you have worked hard at achieving all of those important assets in your life, whether they are the personal ones that I was talking about with your husband, wife, your family, your friend, or the material ones, right, of your bank accounts or your homes or all your cars and stuff like that, they're all worth protecting. They're all worth protecting. So that means you have to stay ahead of the spies, guys. You have to stay ahead of the spies, because they are constantly working, okay, to find out what you're going to do next to take your spot, to move you out of the way, all right, to destroy what you have so that you are no longer their competition, okay? And it doesn't matter how far ahead you are, they're constantly working like ants on a colony, guys. The spies never stop working trying to take you down, okay? Sometimes you just get to the point of where you are so crafty and you've gone so high up that the majority of the ants can't reach you, but the truth is they're always working to tear you down, all right? So when it comes to your power, guys, you have to make sure that you maintain the upper hand when it comes to control over future events, right? Future events, things that you want to do in your life, your next move. You have to have total and complete control over your next move without the competition getting the jump on you, right? If it comes to you grabbing a sale, grabbing a valuable client, whatever it is that you are doing, guys, you have to make sure that you are ahead of the competition. So if you have a spy in your midst, right, and they're always probing everybody to get valuable information about you, then number one, you have to keep your next move silent. And number two, to your peers, you may have to hold on to it until the last minute, which then a lot of times doesn't get people to want to work with you when it comes to creating, something valuable, something extraordinary that you're trying to achieve. So you have to have a really good balance of how much information you're going to give out, and how much information you're not going to give out when it comes to um, your next move, when it comes to creating the life that you want. So understand that. Now, I want you to also understand this, guy. A spy knows that the most successful people won't tell their thoughts, emotions, and their plans, right? Right? If you are successful, you already know this information that I'm giving you. And so most of the time, you won't be divulging this type of information to anybody, right? You'll be keeping it to yourself, keeping it quiet, keeping it silent, okay? And the spy already knows that, right? They already know that. And so they will not come at you like how they come at normal people. You know, normal people, you'll be sitting around and maybe you'll have a couple of cocktails and you'll start to ask them some information, some questions. And normal people, they just blab, blab, blab off at the mouth, right? People who are already successful and already achieved some of the things that are valuable to them, they have a little bit more control of their tongue than that. So the spies, they will take as long as it takes, okay, to become your ally, right? They'll become your ally, and they'll even come at you and say, hey, listen, I have some information that I want to give you about this company and what they're about to do, okay? All right? In order to get you to tell them what you're going to do. You know, the typical Trojan horse, right? They'll come at you as if they're going to give you some valuable information, okay? When all along, right, all they want to do is make you believe that you are going to be making a move on another company, and so they were the person who gave you that valuable information. So you gotta pay attention to the Trojan horse, man. The Trojan horse works a whole lot better than a lot of you think, all right? So pay attention to that, right? But also, guys, also realize this. Spies will also use other people who maybe they introduce you to, and like walk away, something like that, right? And they use those people to gather information from you as well. And I've seen this done far too often, right? And one of the good examples of this that I've seen is maybe the spy will use like a beautiful woman. They use a beautiful woman on a powerful man, knowing that they can immediately work on his ego, and then build a friendship, and then get valuable information that they could pass on. You know? So understand that if you are a person of power, if you're a person that have achieved something successful, or if you're on your rising star, right? This can be used at every single level, guys. Every single level this can be used, man. And if you're a powerful woman, right? They can use another man or a woman when it comes to your vanity. So be careful of that, man. Be careful of that, because I've seen that used as well, right? Vanity, person to cry on, a person's shoulder to cry on, a person to talk to in a time of need. You know, I understand you, they don't understand you type thing. So be careful of that as well, guys, when it comes to power, right? Last but not least, guys, I want you guys to know, man, information is critical to power. Information is power, right? So just having some critical information on somebody, it just leads to getting you so much further when it comes to getting to what you want in life. So understanding this or knowing this, guys, you also have to be able to use it against the spy, right? So if you have a spy that has infiltrated your life, your business, your circle, whatever it is, and you find out, don't immediately jump the gun, right? And kick them out of the circle. You know, I figured you out, I found you out. Be the smart person. Be the smart person and start to feed the spy false information to run and bring to the other organization or the other person who is trying to take you down. Start feeding them false information so that they're 10 steps behind and you're 3 and 4 steps ahead. So start doing that and understand how to think like successful people think, man. Everybody should not have access to your next move. Period. That's it, man. And also, guard your assets with all costs. With all costs, you have to guard your assets, man. And more importantly, man, guard your information. Your information about you, about your family, about your company. Guard your information, guys. Okay? If you have to, throw up a big old smoke screen and throw everybody off, right? So, anyway, that is it. I thought that was more important today than to talk about something else that I was going to talk to you guys about, which I'm going to talk about tomorrow. And what I talk about tomorrow is, it is going to rub a lot of you the wrong way, and I hope it does. I hope it does, because trust me, okay, it is something that you need to do if you want to become successful and remain successful and not get knocked off the top of that pyramid. The top of the pyramid is really hard to stay on top. So I'm going to show you guys and teach you guys what you need to do to stay on top. And that's with tomorrow's podcast. So hop on over and check me out. All right, for all of you guys, make sure, once again, you go on over to lieutenantsalblue.com and pick up your copy of my book. Pick up your copy of my book, Top 25 Mistakes and Route to the Good Life. If you've seen this podcast at the end, realize I am giving away 10,000 copies of my book, or 10,000 autographed copies of my book I'm giving away. So hop on over to lieutenantsalblue.com and pick up your copy today. If you have any issues with the site or your site experience, DM me at any of the social media platforms, and I will get on that immediately. I will work on that to make sure that you guys have a great experience over there at lieutenantsalblue.com. Also, let me know what you want me to talk about tomorrow, guys. Right? Let me know what you want tomorrow's podcast to be about, and we will talk about that. If you don't get to me in time, maybe we'll add it to a Saturday or the weekend podcast. So we'll do that as well. So this is Lieutenant Sal Blue, and I'm signing off. I will see you guys tomorrow with my daily podcast. Deuces. Later.